Hi, I'm here to talk to you about the ketogenic diet, specifically banned foods in the ketogenic diet. What foods are banned on the ketogenic diet? Well, let's talk about the ketogenic diet as a concept first of all. In the medical and scientific community, the only realm of concern is whether or not you have elevated blood ketones. If your ketone levels are within specific ranges, then you're in nutritional ketosis and you're efficiently metabolizing fat through the enzyme lipidase into beta hydroxybutyrol, acetoacetate, and acetone. And if those things are happening, then whatever combination of foods that you're eating are a ketogenic diet. Many people have found that they're able to attain states of ketosis while eating all of the most notoriously anti-ketogenic foods like sugar or soy or grain or specific types of oils. So the ketogenic diet is not a food banning diet. There are not foods that are and are not keto. A ketogenic diet is any combination of foods you can eat over a prolonged period of time habitually and enter a state of ketosis regularly. And those foods include all of the typical problematic foods for ketosis. That may seem counterintuitive because the dose makes the poison. If you have an extremely small amount of sugar, it's unlikely to push you too far out of ketosis, and in a calorie deficit in general, you're going to burn through calories of any type and get to the point of needing additional calories, which will push the ketogenic processes forward. So, if you're typically in a calorie restriction, your diet's going to be a lot more tolerant of non-ketogenic friendly foods. What people particularly mean when they're not being the keto police and absolutists or throwing on additional restrictions they heard about in a book or a particular diet guru's keto formula that he invented, we're talking about the kinds of foods that are either problematic and hidden, like often maltodextrin is included in food as a bulking agent, but has a glycemic index. And a high glycemic index means that there's going to be an insulin response to that food, and that's going to suppress the ketosis processes. So again, the dose makes the poison, and sometimes, especially with processed food, it's hard to establish how much of a given problem agent is involved in a food. So some people may find it advantageous to their weight loss process to eliminate these foods entirely if they're found anywhere on the label. Other people include additional beneficial things like additional omega-3 fatty acids and watch their omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acid profiles. And this is why you'll often hear recommendations to have grass-fed food or Kerrygold butter, and those are where those things come from. And there's decent research to support omega-3 fatty acids as being important and helpful in a healthy diet, but they're not specifically tied to ketosis. In addition, you may hear people reference MCT oil, which has had good research as far as neuroprotective effects and stimulating certain aspects of human metabolic processes and speeding up metabolization in general. So MCT oil does have some solid research behind it, but isn't specifically required at all for the ketogenic diet. So the ketogenic diet is more about what you don't eat than what you do. And specifically, it's the regulation of carbs and digestible carbs that's most important, which gets into an area about whether or not people count total carbs or net carbs. In general, if you're having trouble, total carbs is a better idea, and part of the reason for that is, at least in America, net carbs are incredibly hard to discern. People will say you should subtract the dietary fiber from the overall carbs, as well as any sugar alcohols from the overall carbs to get net carbs. But sugar alcohols vary in their digestibility, and over certain quantities will elicit some sort of response from insulin. Furthermore, dietary fiber is not broken down into soluble and insoluble fiber. soluble fiber is digestible and insoluble fiber is not, but on most FDA labels, it's just recorded as dietary fiber. So when you have something like a bar with 30 grams of carbohydrates and 20 grams of dietary fiber, you don't know if that's 20 grams of insoluble fiber or 20 grams of soluble fiber. So all 20 of those grams of carbs might count or none of them. So for that reason, a lot of people that are having problems with their weight control and with their keto diet will look at counting total carbs to eliminate the vague category of dietary fiber from being a problem area. So I hope these things have helped you understand what are and aren't banned foods on keto. In general, anything that has a lot of sugar or a high glycemic index, things like carrots, are going to be especially problematic for a keto diet. But if there's a food or a food substance that has a mixed nutrient profile that you really, really adore, usually the dose is the poison. So in a small amount, you may be able to keep these things in your diet. Other people will say, no, this isn't keto, I read that in a book, but I'm adhering to the scientific and medical community, which has outlined that a ketogenic diet is typically defined by anything under 50 grams of carbohydrates a day, but some people may not enter the realms of nutritional ketosis unless they get under 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. So colloquially, people recommend 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. So I wish you the best of luck. And by all means, if you're one of those people that has restricted grains or dairy or any sort of artificial sweetener from your diet and you think it's helped you with your results, I'm not arguing with you. It very may well have been applicable to your process and your results, and those things might be good ideas for weight loss in particular. But especially because people are frequently doing the ketogenic diet for medical side effects or for medical effects that aren't tied to weight loss, like epilepsy control or tumor control, cancer treatment, and so forth, it's important to discern which things are just good for overall health, which things are good for overall weight loss, and which things are specific to the ketogenic diet. And when it comes to the ketogenic diet, there are no banned foods. There are only doses that make the poison, foods that tend to be surprisingly problematic, and foods that can be eaten in reasonable and small doses. I wish you the best of luck on your diet, and I hope this has cleared up some of the confusion around banned foods and keto. Have a good day. I love you guys. Bye.